Spartans! What is your profession?
I try to live what they let go, away to dreams they'll never know. But a drowning soul can't save the tide, and now I see I must step aside.
I fought till my hands turned to stone, carrying battles that weren't my own. They swore they'd stand but turned away, left me to bleed in the fray.
I held the line as long as I could, fought for the spark they misunderstood. They whispered dreams they'd never choose, said they were in but lived to lose. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout.
I wanted to see your colors fly, but you clipped your wings and let them die. You craved the fall, not the fight to win, a war within that you let begin.
I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. I saw the fire dim in their eyes, promises buried under their lies. They wore the crown of fleeting belief, but ran from the throne when it brought grief. Oh,
I tried to carry your weight on my back, but your shadow was a heavy attack. You disappeared when the fire burned high, left me screaming at an empty sky.
I wanted the victory more than they, but you can't chase stars for those who stray. So I lay down the sword and walk away. The battle's lost, they chose decay. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. Oh, they vanished like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reach my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Oh, they vanish like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reached my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How is everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the show, welcome to the show. I am Techco Travel. We are engineered to win. Hopefully your week is going absolutely phenomenal. Mine is so-so. Mine is so-so. We're getting there though. We are getting there. It is very, very busy. I'm telling you, when you set deadlines for yourself and you are trying to meet them, sometimes you're going to be up really, really late, but it will all be worth it when everything is said and done. All right, let's get into some quick housekeeping really, really quickly, and then we will get into our... I'm late. I wanted to start earlier, had to move some things around. It is all good. I'm going to get into some housekeeping, and then we are going to get into our first part of the show where we're going to be using up our 5 tokens. I mean, I have a lot to use, but at least 5 tokens. As I'm trying to figure out what I started on Sunday, trying to figure out what's going on with this Jira stuff, connecting to my Lovable application. I'm troubleshooting. I'm going to, and if that doesn't work, I did get GitHub to start pulling in data. Going to start trying to figure out how to populate the dashboard using a little bit of Gemini, using Lovable, so that we can make some progress. All right, but it is what it is. Let's get into some housekeeping really quick. All right, so first and foremost, I want to say a big thank you to every single last subscriber on this channel, on the YouTube channel, every single last new follower that we have on Twitch and on X. I appreciate every last one of you.
I appreciate you.
And I gotta always give a big shout out and salute to all of the Tech Coach Off Patreon members, the Tech Barbarians, the Tech Prodigy members, the Technical Explorers, everybody who even signs up for a free account, those who message me in the Patreon, those who join me for our vibe code and chill sessions where I am sharing tons and tons of information. I was supposed to post the session today, but I didn't get to, so I'm gonna do my best to post it tomorrow because it was like 2.5 hours of golden information. So shout out to all of the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon members. We are the best.
We the best.
And shout out to the Tech Mercenaries as well. Those are the YouTube channel members who allow me to be here day in and day out. Your constant support is what allows me to put out this fire content every single day. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right, really quick. Tomorrow we are going to be going live in the morning. That's the plan, going live in the morning. And then at noon Eastern time, I'm going to be premiering a software explorations. I heard about Google Opal, and I was like, oh, this is new. So it's basically Google's version or attempt to be version of like Make and Lovable, things of that nature. So I gave it a test drive. I did some research on it, gave it a test drive. I will be sharing with you the outcome of that. I did a comparison, a prototype that we created on Lovable, and I used the same prompt to create the same prototype on Google Opal. So you will see how that turned out. All right. So, and that would be it. We're going to be going live on Thursday night as well. All of that good stuff. So that's the goal. That is the plan. Looking forward to seeing you in all the places in the next couple of days. All right. I'm going to check the chat really quick because there's not too many of them, but we do want to jump into our vibe coding as we work. And I tell you, I was up to like 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday trying to fix this crazy issue. What I'll do after we get through our session, I will tell you about it because look, I got till 8 o'clock till the re-up man comes. I haven't used any of my credits today, so we got to make use of them. We gotta make use of them. All right. So chat really quick. We have NC Worker in the building. Says good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well, NC Worker. How are you? Hopefully everything is going phenomenal with you. And we got my guy Junior in the building. Junior says, what's up? Family, what's good with you, Junior? Always a blessing and a pleasure to have you here. And Junior said, I did another live. I messaged you on IG before I went live this time. Oh, thank you. Like I am the worst at checking IG, but I'm going to try to put a notification for when you in particular sends me a message. I can catch on to that. All right. But with that being said, we are going to, and I'm going to turn on the call-in link after we finish our, hopefully I can remember. Let me make a note to my note to self. Turn on call-in link after finishing our vibe coding session. Let me put it over here. Turn on call-in link. All right. So I'm going to start our session and then we will turn on the call-in link. Actually somebody emailed me and I'm going to address that question first, and then we're going to go through some other questions that I got, or some other, not necessarily questions, but some posts on Reddit that I wanted to talk about as well. All right. So I'm going to put 20 minutes. I'm going to put 20 minutes. But we might go longer than that. It is what it is, whatever the case may be. But let's go ahead and throw up our first 20 on the clock.
It's time to do.
And I will take this down and put this up. Boom. All right. I'm still trying to pull in Jira data. It is not going too well, but so here is the prototype of this dashboard that I created that I want to be able to pull in metrics, right? However, as good as this looks, it still takes like we gotta be able to pull in the data, and we do have to be able to get the and then we have to create the calculations to do all this, right? Now I've started working on this, but I got in GitHub to pull in information, but I haven't been able to get Jira to pull in information, and I'm not getting any errors. That's the part that bothers me the most. So I can show you this really quick, right? So this is pulling from my GitHub, and I'm just pulling. So I set it up where in the admin section I can put in. Let me close this right now. For now, I can put in I have a GitHub token. I pass the GitHub token in, and it's pulling in all of my repos, and then I can set it for 30 days, so 7 days, no PRs merged, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and if both of these are going to be the same thing, I don't think we need closed pull requests anyway. Well, you can have close without being merged, but I don't know if people really track closed pull requests. But I am going to, but the one that I really want to get in there is the Jira one, because that's so important, but I can't. So if I go, and it's supposed to be connecting to my Jira, all right? So if I go pull this back up, and I go to network, what happens when I do this, right? It's supposed to be loading the projects, and I failed to fetch Jira projects. Oh, okay. So I broke something purposely. In my attempt to troubleshoot, I broke something purposely, right? And if we look at let me see what I broke. So I was playing with the code earlier today, and all right. So I purposely changed this URL so that it could give me an error, because I want to see an error, because right now it's returning to me correct, like it's correct, it's connecting successfully, which I don't want it to connect successfully, right? So where's my, do I have a Gemini open? Let me check Gemini. So when I go to Gemini, it's telling me that it could be some other type of issues, but I don't believe so, because if I do, watch this, right? If I go here and I change this to permissions and I save that, but this is all about, like, I would say in tech, 95% of your time is spent, well, let's say 90% of your time is spent troubleshooting, 5% of the time is spent developing, and then the other 5% is other miscellaneous tasks, all right? So if I go back over here and I refresh this page, and I go here, unexpected response format from Jira API, if I go here, so you see I'm getting data, right? But the problem with this data that I'm getting, other than it being in Chinese, when I go to that same endpoint in here, right, it is not in Chinese, which I'm like, something is up. Something is really up. So that's why I'm a little confused by all the things that are happening. And if I go all the way down to the bottom, so something, it's connected to something, all right? But I don't know why it's not in English. So it's like, what are you doing? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, to troubleshoot, I changed the endpoint from projects to permissions, and I got a response that is similar to the response I get from a normal API call, but from the app, the response was in Chinese, or Could be Japanese. I don't know. That's just a bad guess. All right, let's see. So, because once I can get this to pull in Jira data, which it should have been just like that, right? But once I can get it to pull in Jira data, we are off to the races. But being that that's very on your system, the API is not actually responding in Chinese. This behavior is a classic kind of a response compression or character encoding issue. Here's what's happening. Jira server is likely sending a compressed response using gzip to be more efficient. Postman and your browser automatically decompresses for you. So you see the normal JSON text. Your super-based edge function, however, is likely receiving raw compressed binary data and trying to interpret it as UTF text. All right, so it's not Chinese apparently, or allegedly. My permission. I mean, let me check my permissions then. Oh, that might be a good one to check. Let me check on the. Let's see. Where's the one? Let's go to. So let's see what my permissions does. The permissions query parameter is required. I don't know what that means. Oh. The permissions. So now this is stuck. All right. Unrecognized permission. So if I look at, let's say we put in this add comments. And this is pure troubleshooting right here. Okay, so this returns something. So if I go back over here, so if I go here and I say, let's say project. Let's say browse projects. Let's try that. So if I go here and I do browse project and I send, taking its sweet precious time, and that says true. It took some time, so that's making me wonder if it's like a delay type thing. Let's go to, so let me try that. Let's go to the code and I say, normally I would do this in an IDE nowadays, but permission equals browse project. But for the speed of this, my permissions equals, all right, so I just want to see this, right? To see what we're able to do with this. Fetching projects in the project URL, and then it's going to do this, and then it's going to go through here. Because before, it's just giving us an array saying that things are like working. And I'm like, it's not working though. Let's see. Jira authentication failed. So see, and see, we're not even getting authentication issues. So let's see. Let me save this. But the thing is with like, this forces you to learn more and more stuff, right? It just forces you to continue learning more and more stuff. All right, so now I'm going to go refresh this page. Refresh this page. If I go here, Ah, look at that. Look at that. So from from here, I have permission true, but from here, I have permission false. And that's troubleshooting for you. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to Gemini, and I'm going to say, copy this, and I'm going to say, when I hit the API from Postman, to get the permissions, to get the my permissions endpoint, the Jira API, I'm getting this response. However, when I do it from Supabase, I'm getting this response. Let's do copy response, and there, that might be the issue. Now the question is, how do you give it permission? Oh, yeah. All right. Let me see. It's definitely proof that Jira Security is blocking the request based on its origin. Your troubleshooting has successfully uncovered the root cause. You're essentially saying, from Postman, I recognize your API token and the request coming from a trusted IP. From Supabase, I recognize your token, but it's coming from an untrusted IP. Due to security rules, I'm revoking that permission. This confirms that your Jira instance has IP allowing enabled, and Supabase server IP is not on the list. When this happens, Jira returns a 403. Doesn't return a 403. Simply, all right, cool. As a Jira admin, you need to add Supabase static IP to your organization security settings. Get Supabase IP, infrastructure static IP. Navigate to the Jira admin. Go to here. Allow, add to allow list. All right. Let me see if we can do that. I guess I can show that. So security, IP allow. Well, there we go. There goes that. It's only allowed for premium plans. And I don't have a Jira premium plan. Well, that's a pity. Huh. Let's see. Well, that's a pity. Let me think. Let's go to audit log. Shout out to Daniel M for subscribing to the channel. And I see your question. I'm going to answer you in just a second. Before you can set up authentication policies. Let me see if there's anything else I can do. External users. Use IP allowed to specify which IPs users must use. Let's see. That sucks. Well, at least we know that we can connect. And we see what the issue. I wish I could just give. Let me see something. Let's see. Let's see. Is there any way to get a connection using the free app? Free Jira. And if that doesn't work, then I have a plan B for now. But I really did need this to work. Great. Wait. So the free plan for Jira Cloud fully supports API access. You can create API tokens and make a request to all the standard inputs, including project permissions. Just like, however, this brings us to a critical point based on the crucial insight is not a free feature. This is no, it is, or it's all right. Part of the okay. I mean, I know I'm on the free plan. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me try something else. Let's see. Let me see something. I don't know. Let's go over to your secrets. Let's say we do that. Let's say we do that. Replace it. Refresh. Well, so sad. So sorry, so sad. But we got another 20 minutes to go where we will pivot from the Jira part. I'll figure out a workaround for Jira. But what we can do is this. What I want to do is see how can we gather some of this data. So if we're looking at here, trends, I don't think these trends are actually, so these are not correct. But let me see, if we look at these trends, so what I'm going to do is
Lunch break! Lunch break!
I'm going to continue working past the lunch break, but I am going to answer Daniel's questions. Thank you for subscribing as well. The goal of this project is to build a dashboard that gives you metrics on your engineering stats, like as you can see, lead time information, code quality and engineering, like so hot fixes per 100 PRs, customer defects, automatic deployments, tech debt ratio. But a lot of these require Jira to get them. The hot fixes per 100 PRs, we might be able to get that one straight from GitHub. But there's a lot of stuff that probably the enhancement to fix ratio as well, because that can also come from GitHub labels, I believe. But there's a lot of stuff that isn't Jira that I need, that I want, and that I can't get right now. But I will be able to get it eventually. So we'll see. But for our 20 minutes, what we can do is, or until 8 o'clock, what we can do is, I want to, let's do this. Let's go to Gemini. And then I am building a dashboard for engineers to give them metrics. I want to connect to the Jira API and the GitHub API. Right now, I have a successful connection to GitHub. What are some metrics I can use with the data I am gathering from GitHub? So what I'm going to do, just to test it out, I want to, because right now all I'm doing is pulling in the, I'm just pulling in the pull request, but like this one right here doesn't even really matter much. And I built an admin for it as well, where I can go here and say, let's get rid of the close pull request. So then once I go back to the site, let's go access dashboard. Oh my God, really? Let's go, just go back. I need to add some type of better, I need to add better persistence on the login, because every time you go to it, it's gonna have you log in again. But so see, made that update, right? So let me see what. So connecting to GitHub provides a wealth of data for increasing valuable engineering metrics. You can generally group these into categories like productivity, code quality, collaboration. Here are some key metrics you can build. Pull request lead time. This measures the total time from the first commit on the branch to when the code is merged into the main branch. A shorter lead time indicates a faster, more efficient development process. You can break down further. You can break it down further. Time to open, time to merge. Ooh, okay. What I'm gonna do is the number of pull requests merge over specific. Ooh, okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna do it like this. Right? I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna say I want. So these metrics, they are often associated with DORA DevOps research. All right. So I want to. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna go here. I want to use our GitHub integration to set up these metrics in the admin section. They should be tiles. So basically, here's what I want to do, right? I want to do, when I go to dashboard configuration, I want to add a metric, and I can have drop downs for these different metrics. and I can say what section I want it on, and then it should pop up over there, right? They should be options in the dashboard configuration in the admin, so that I can have them displayed on the dashboard. Use. I want it to be valid data based on the way these metrics are typically calculated. Boom. Let's go with that, and let's see how that does for us. But troubleshooting, right? I spent all of last night and this morning using up the rest of my tokens to fix a crazy issue that I will be sharing more about in our Vibe Code and Chill session, not this weekend, but the weekend after. I mean, I feel like I just did that this past weekend about a different issue, but then I came up to a crazy checkout issue yesterday, and this morning with about 2 credits left. I'm like, I wonder if I do it this way, and it fixed it. So, but like I said, troubleshooting is a huge part of the game. Knowing how to troubleshoot, the way that I just troubleshooted this to figure out the Jira issue. Now I know what the problem is, and I just got to find a solution to that problem. But once you can know what, I gave this example the other day. If you work on cars, once you can differentiate if it's the battery that's bad, if it's the alternator that's bad, if it's the starter that's bad, once you know what the problem is, now it's like, all right, let me go and get the part that I need to change and the money for it and stuff like that. So all of those come into play, right? So I need to add these GitHub engineering metrics to the dashboard configuration options. First, let me create an SQL migration to add new metric types to the database. So this is going to do add new GitHub engineering metric types to dashboard metrics table. These metrics will be available for selection in the dashboard configuration. No schema change is needed, just adding new metric types through the application. The metric columns already exist and handle these values. So you're telling me I'm going to spend a credit just for dudes? Can I just do this myself? Like, all right, I got the credit. I got the credits. All right, so I'm going to do it. But come on, you took a credit just for that? Come on, son. All right, so well, that's gonna burn through 2 of our credits. Let's see. All right, so let's see, by adding the new metric types to the dashboard and creating a logic to calculate these metrics. While that's happening, I'm going to go back and read over here. Code quality and health metrics. These metrics provide insight into quality and maintainability of code being produced. Churn code or rework rate, the percentage of code that gets rewritten or deleted shortly after. Ooh, that is a very interesting one. Pull request, PR size, the number of lines of code change in a typical PR. Smaller PRs are generally better. Code coverage, the percentage of your code that is covered by automated tests. You can pull this data from CI/CD tools that run on each PR and display the badge or result within GitHub. And change failure rate, the percentage of deployments that cause a failure in production. To track this, you need to correlate deployments, merge domain with bug reports or incident trackers with like Jira, which is an issue. And collaboration and process metrics. All right, cool. So let's go and take a look at what this did. All right, so successfully implemented the GitHub engineering metrics you requested. 6 new metric types: PR lead time, time to open, time to merge, PR throughput, commit frequency, deployment frequency, engineering metric service queue, custom hook, dashboard integration. The metrics are now available under dashboard configuration, and you can add them to any section of your dashboard. All right, you got an error. Let's go and fix this error. How many tokens we have left? We have 3 left. Okay. So Let's see. All right, so that's good. Let's go over to here and refresh this page. And dashboard configuration, let's add a metric. We have more stuff. Let's do, so let me, I guess I can't get rid of this yet, but all right, so let's do add section, Dora metrics. And it says DevOps. What did it stand for again? DevOps. DevOps research and assessment. Research and assessment. All right, let's do add section. And under that section, so I already see some features that I would want to, being able to delete sections, being able to drag and drop stuff around. Those are definitely features that we want to get added. So let's say we will call this PR lead time target selection. All right, let's add this metric. Let's say we also do time to open. Let's do that. And let's just do one more for now, right? Let's say PR throughput. I would also want, if I don't put a title, it automatically uses this title. All right, so there's that. Let's go back over here. Let's refresh this and see what we get. Now the question is this accurate? Is it accurate? Let me see. Resource not accessible by personal access token. So something isn't being populated, I guess, or is it? All right, so this is, all right, so some stuff are being populated. Some stuff are being populated, as I can see here. Nice. So which one is not being, so commits, oh, okay. So resource not at, I wonder if it's because status 403. So that's a permission issue. All right, so I'm not gonna worry about that for now. We got 2 tokens left. We'll check this documentation later. We got a few minutes to go. So I will say, I'm gonna do something very simple. I want to be able to drag and drop in the admin the order that the sections and or metrics are displayed in sections. Sections are displayed on the dashboard, and or metrics, or the metrics are displayed in the sections. Let's go with that. While that's happening, I am going to, well, I don't have that much time, so let's not do that. That's going to be what? Anyways, so that's going to be two left. So that means when I'm in here, oh, it's not done yet. And I'm going to start saying, I want the ability to delete a section from the dashboard as well. Let's do that real quick. We'll burn this token, and then if I do a hard last one, it's going to take some time, and then it'll probably burn into our tokens for tomorrow. But I have a lot of tokens, and I'm probably not going to work much on this tomorrow, so why not? So so I'm just going to send this right now. Make sure there's no errors. And while that's happening, I would never do a prompt that's so short, but just for essence of time, that's why I did it. So let's go ahead and refresh over here. And we go to dashboard configuration. And I should be, oh, look at that. Looky here. So we'll say PR lead time to open. Let's go with that. And then for our very last token, I will say, I think we could do it in like 2 minutes. I will say, let's go to Gemini. And I want, let's go with this. I want to be able to track these metrics as well. Can you set them up the same way as the Dora metrics to pull from GitHub and to make them options to put on the dashboard from the dashboard config in the admin. Boom. So when I start a project, my prompts are very, very, very broad. As we get deeper and deeper into the project, they become very, very, very specific. Some stuff I even choose to do myself, minor stuff that, and I have to give 1000% credit to Lovable for this, right? My understanding of React components pages has grown exponentially in the last week because I've been using it a lot more. You know how they say if you don't use it, you lose it. But not even if you don't, but even if you never really experimented with it to take the time to understand, because like you'd use it a little bit, then you go away from it, use it a little bit. But the fact that I've been able to use it so much this past week, it is making it's really making a lot of sense to me lately. All right, so hopefully this can get done because I think it's like 8:03ish. That's when the re-up happens. So hopefully it can get done before that. I still said that too. I don't know. But let's see what happens. If you lose one, then you lose one. I thought I had more. Anyway, so let's go here and let's go refresh. I want to get rid of the engineering metrics one for now. Can always add it back later. So if I say trash, you're out of there. And if we go back and refresh this, there we have it. Average time to commit from first commit to merge the last 30 days. If I say 60, .3. I don't know if this one is accurate. Time to open PRs. Because if this is not accurate, then where are you getting this data from? Or one of these aren't accurate. Because this is failing over here, right? But that's something that I can look into. But then we'll want the trends. So what I'll probably play with this a little bit more tonight, getting this stuff to show up, and then getting the trends and the alerts to, and probably troubleshooting to see what this is all about. List commits, see why we're getting a status of 403. Maybe something with the permissions that I have to update. Let's see. So it said it did something. Let's do try to fix. And the re-up man came. We already used one of our credits. It is what it is, though. No biggie. Like I said, I have a lot to get through. And I think the re-up happens on, what day is today? On the 17th. So I might have a very, very long vibe code and chill session next Saturday as I work through this dashboard and see what we can build out of it. Because I do have plans to use it for something. So let's see. But let's wait till this one is done, and then we'll go to break, check the chat. And then I received an email today from somebody in QA who said they follow me, so thanks for that. And they wanted some insight, so I am going to respond to their emails, but I wanted to share the insight to everyone because there might be a lot of people who are struggling with that same issue. So, all right, let's see, added proper types. Let's see, fix the commit details, access by properly typing in the commit details. Yeah, all right, so let's fix this one too then. And I posted a question on X today. For those who actually do this vibe coding stuff, because I see a lot of posts by people making a lot of money through the apps that they build, right? But my question is, for anybody, right? Do you actually look at, like, do you actually read through the responses that is being given to you to see what platforms like Make, like Lovable, like Devin are doing? Because they're very detailed in all the work that they're doing. And for me, just by reading this, I've learned so much more about so many different applications, all right, so this says it's done. Let's go over to our dashboard really, really quick. Let's refresh. And this section is supposed to be called, let's get it from, let's just do that. Add a section. And we're going to call that let's see, that is going to be, so code churn or rework rate. Code churn. Let's do slash rework rate. The percentage, target selection. Let's add another one really, really quick. That's going to be pull request size. Oh my God, that's going to be, well, here's the thing, right? Because like I just said, oh my God, that's going to be bad, right? But I don't think it's going to be bad because this is all the work that I've done. And this is going to make me better at that work to keep pull requests a good, decent size, let's say here, let's say average, let's say pull request size, add that metric, or let's say average PR size. Add another metric. Let's do one more metric, see how it looks on the dashboard. Code coverage. Let's do code. I don't know if we have any code coverage in there, but code coverage. Let's do that. Add metric. And let's go take a look at the actual site and see what we got going. I can close that for now. All right, let's see how it looks. Are we getting any data? Well, what's going on? All right. Good. Lordy. 13,486 lines. Goodness gracious. That's a lot. But to be fair, the repos that I have connected are the ones from Lovable. So it is actually looking at, so if I go over here, GitHub integration. So this is the what do you call it? This is the homeschool one, and this is another one right here, right? So I'll use branches, but that just lets me know that I need to, every change that I make, I need to create a branch. The same way you do in software development, right? Make a change, put it into a branch, test it, merge it back to main, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Percentage of code rewritten, deleted shortly after committed the last 30 days. This might actually change. This might change after I push some code through. Let me take a look at the, let me refresh it and take a look at the network logs to see if anything is erroring out other than the commit stuff. And I believe this is real data because it's taking so much time to get in. What is this check runs? Not accept. So check runs. These check runs are for what do you call it? So that's what you get the code coverage from and the code churn from. It's for the the GitHub Actions, I suppose, those runs. But look, the good thing is we have all of this information. Like, we have a pretty good dashboard already. We just need to plug it up with real information. So yeah, let's go to break. Let's go to break. That was our vibe coding session. We spent about 40 minutes of vibe coding, maybe a little bit longer, right? And let me go ahead and turn on the call-in link in case anybody wants to call in tonight. And let me see. Call-in link is now officially open. All right. I am going to check the chat. Then I will go to the email that I received, and I'm going to give the feedback on that email to what I'm going to pretty much say what I'm going to respond to the person, but I'm going to share it publicly because I think it's going to be valuable insight for everyone. All right. So let me see. Junior says based on him sending me a message on IG and I did not answer. He says, I know you barely check. Yes, that is, ask Bozito. He will tell you that. He'll send me a message and then I'll go and check Instagram like a week later. I'm like, oh crap. So yes, I barely check Instagram. It's by chance when I happen to open it. I'm like, oh, there is a message there. Let me see. So I answered. Daniel asked, "What is the goal of this project?" So it's to build an engineering metrics dashboard, as you saw. Being like just being able to connect to GitHub alone, we have already pulled in a lot of data. Once I figure out what I'm gonna do with Jira, it's a game changer. It is going to be a total game changer. Drew says, "Get the free trial." Yeah, that's on the table. The issue with Jira, I don't think I ever had the free trial, but the issue with Jira is that they charge you per user, and I'm like, I do not have a need for that for the work that I do. We got Bozito Coding Journey in the building. What's good with you? Bozito says, talked a little bit about you on my video and how I got my job at Meta. What? Hopefully it was all good things. I'm just messing around. I'm gonna go watch it as soon as you know what? Let me see. Watch it together. Let me see if I have it here. Let me see. Instagram. And okay, let's see what we got going on over here. Let me see. Oh, how can I, hold on. Let me see something. Oh, let me see if I can go here. Go here. All right, let's fair use. I am mentioning it, so let's watch it together. Right. I do want to take a look at this. All right, so let's go over to, this is my guy Bozito Coding Journey. Let me share the system audio. And like I said, hopefully it's all good things he said about me, because I'm about to share this without even watching it. All right, let's. Also, is it in English? Is it in English? Let's find out together.
Last year, I set a goal that I would land my first tech job. I knew that I want to work on the tech. I just didn't know when it would happen or how, but I finally did. I landed my first tech job, and not just anywhere. I'm working at Meta on the Reality Labs team with the Meta glasses. This is the story of how a self-employed videographer with zero tech background made a complete career switch. It took me months of studying, tons of rejection, and even messaging that I thought was a scam but was real. So if you are out there grinding, hustling, wondering if it's worth, this video is for you. So why I switched careers? Well, for years I worked as a photographer and videographer, which I still do during the weekends as a side hustle now. Fully self-employed, building my brand.
Bozito says the full video is on YouTube. All right, let me go and check that out then. Let me see if I can find that. Jesus. Hold on, give me a second. Let me see if I can find the full video. Because I would love... It's 10 minutes. All right, all right. Let's see. Oh. We're gonna check it out, but we're gonna check it out closer towards the end of the show. But I love what I'm hearing. I love what I'm hearing already. Shout out to you, Bozito. That is absolutely awesome. Absolutely, I am so proud of you. It says you can see, or you can see you by one, or you can see you by one in this post. I want to check out the whole thing. I want to check out the whole thing. All right. But I might even do a review on it because that is absolutely awesome. I am so proud of you. All right. We are the best.
We the best.
All right. So let's go ahead and let me finish reading the chat. Junior says, yes, the coach is the best. And thank you so much, Junior.
I appreciate you.
Let's see. All right, we got. All right, so I'm gonna check out the full video. We're gonna maybe if we have time, we'll watch it towards the end of the show because I really love your story, from videographer to a QA engineer at Meta. So that's awesome. All right. Okay. So let's do this. I am going to read to you this email that I received, and then I'm going to give you my feedback on that email. All right. So we're going to go like this.
Another one.
So this email I received today, the subject is, I need career advice. All right. It says, so hi, TechOdraft. I've been implementing your at TechOdraft strategies in my first QA role at a startup. So that's awesome. But I've hit a critical roadblock. After discovering a major payment processing bug last month, shout out to you for discovering that. I documented it thoroughly per your defect management principles. Awesome. But when I presented it to our lead developer, he dismissed it as an edge case. At what? You did what, Mr. Developer? He dismissed it as an edge case noise and refused to prioritize it. 2 weeks later, 2 freaking weeks later, the exact same bug that I, the new QA engineer in my first role at a startup that I caught, caused a $12,000 bug. It caused $12,000 in failed transactions during our peak sales period. Now, management is questioning why I didn't escalate harder, while the dev teams feel I'm trying to blame them. I'm frozen between protecting quality and maintaining team relationships. How can I professionally assert critical quality concerns without creating adversarial dynamics? All right, so that is the question. That is an amazing question. the choices: protecting the quality and integrity of your software versus having good relationships with your team. Which one do you go for? So I'm going to tell you this. I am going to tell you this, right? When the company is making money, there's going to be less blame to go around. Now, I think here's the deal. Whenever it comes to situations about defects that can cause like revenue generation, that is immediately critical. You felt that it was a critical defect, but and I understand, because being new at a company, especially in your first role, you're kind of going to lean more towards the people who are more experienced, developers and stuff like that. But you have to remember, it is your job. It's your job to test, and you found the bug. So you also have to advocate for those critical bugs. Like I would never dismiss a financial bug as an edge case, because that's gonna like that is the company's like bread and butter, like the ability to make money. So I would always prioritize, like, look, at the end of the day, with all due respect, I couldn't give two flying about relationships. All right. Because those relationships that you have with the developers and whoever else are not going to pay your bills. If you see something that is not good, you better get more than one person to tell you, oh, it's not that big of a deal. If I, like, for me personally, if I see there's a situation that it can cause like really big harm, and I tell one developer about it and they dismiss it, I wouldn't even only go to the developer, right? I would be going to the product owner, scrum master, whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. All right. But just because one developer says something, like, the developer's job is to develop, right? They care about quality, but not as much as you do at the end of the day, because guess what? They don't have quality in their title. You do. So I would say that the goal of the company, the priorities of the company, that's number one. Your relationships with your team, that's number two. They should be in sync, right? But if you have to go and escalate an issue because you think it's important and somebody else doesn't think it's important, well, if you want to avoid getting the blame for the whatever loss in revenue that is, then you have to do that. Like when a developer leaves, there goes that relationship. Like they're like you business over work friendships. That's the best way I can put it. Business over work friendships, right? You're going to be amicable. You're going to work together. You're going to raise bugs. But the second that you think that something is really, really important and they haven't convinced you that it is not, you better go and raise that and tell the people that matter, because you're going to end up in this situation where they're questioning your ability to do the job. Like, this person should have challenged it more. And as far as developers trying to put blame, like saying, oh, you're trying to blame us for X, Y, and Z, I never look, and the teams that I work on, we don't assign blame to any particular person because we are a team, right? And that's why I always say it's important. And I'm going to share an X post, right? I'll pull it up, but because it kind of had that sentiment that like a conflicting view that I have, because the way that I see it, we are a development team, right? We are in it together building out the software. It's not, I'm just I'm the QA person. I'm going to just find and report the issue. But if you don't want to fix it, then you don't want to fix it. No, because if what I reported doesn't get prioritized, and now it causes the company to lose a lot of money, to the point where the type of defect where they lost so much money they have to start laying people off. Well, I'm gonna be out of a job. I would rather us not be the best of friends and have a job versus us all of us being unemployed. So that's why I don't think, I'm just gonna report it and walk away. No, I'm gonna be in the trenches. Like if the developers are staying late to fix something, then I'm gonna be staying late with the developers to make so I can be able to test and I can be able to guide. And I'm going to push the developers, the product owners, and I'm going to advocate for my point of view. Now, if the product owner and the developers and the scrum master and their boss and the CEO all say, "Oh, it's just an edge case, no big deal," I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. But guess what? I am going to still document this defect as critical. And before we do anything, I need you guys to document that you believe that what I said was critical. You guys felt that it is not that serious, that it's just an edge case, and that we can move forward without it, because it's not necessarily a CYA, but it is to say that I am not in favor of this decision, but I will go along with it because we are a team. So if it fails, I get the blame too, but I just want to show clear documentation that this was raised, this was advocated for, and the CEO, the CTO, the COO, the senior VP, the VP, the director, all those people all said, "Oh, that's not that big of a deal." So when the $12,000 loss comes in, right? Although it's partially my fault, but it's also everybody else's fault as well. And we agree that if this causes a major outage, then we all share in the responsibility, and not just me because I didn't fight for it harder. I am going to fight till I have no more options, but I'm going to fight for my position, right? And that's my message as somebody who's been doing this for a very, very long time. The worst thing, as somebody who has been in QA for a long time, the worst thing that you can be as a QA engineer is passive. Just, well, I found the issue, I let them know, and whatever they want to do with it, that's what they want to do with it. Absolutely not. Your pay, and this is what people miss, right? This is what people miss. Your pay is directly tied into the success of the company. Well, I'm not getting an equity share. Well, yeah. Well, guess what? You are, because if the company crashes and burns, you're not getting paid. You're gonna have to find another job, right? So that's why I'm always highly invested in the success of my team and the success of the company, because even if I'm not getting some type of bonus or equity share or something like that, I still want the job that I accepted to do and get paid for it. Because if I don't do it, or if I'm not an active participant in it, then I'm not going to have it going forward, right? And I think that's the bigger part that people don't understand about jobs. I went way past what the question that you asked me for, but I would say favor the business, the success of the company, over friends that you may or may not make at work, right? Because I'm a better friend when I have a job and when I am getting paid. So that's how I would recommend you navigate those waters, right? If you think something is serious, then you fight for it and you advocate for it, and you get many people to tell you that, oh, it's not that serious. And you get it documented. All right. So those are my thoughts on that one. All right, let's go and take a look at, let me see, where are we? We are right here. All right, let me check the chat and then we will jump into a Reddit post about 10 brutal lessons from 9 months of vibe coding. All right, Junior, you take care. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for spending your time before Bible study with me. Always appreciate it. Always a blessing. All right, let me go back into the chat and see what we got going on. Let's see. Bozito says, there's no relationship. I raise bugs every day and the developers thank me. There you go. Spoken by a meta QA engineer. See, I love the fact that I can say I have a meta QA engineer in my chat. Let's get it. Bozita says, then they say it's fixed. When it's not, we start a ping pong game, testing and fixing. That's how it goes. I'll tell you this, right? My teams that I work on are so small that I will jump on and like there's a lot of see, I believe it's so important that you go out, like you continue to get knowledge and you learn about DevOps and you learn about other types of technology, right? Learn about web design, learn about software development, learn about DevOps, because I will be in troubleshooting sessions with my engineers, and I'll be giving insight based on what I've learned, and my testing strategy. I built like a project we're working on right now. I built out a whole really cool framework to automate all of our testing flows. So instead of like for me, which it could be different at different companies, but for me, like I love to collaborate with them so that we can in real time get the best software out there, you know? Let me see. And Junior says, and why do I even want a relationship with someone who says, who won't say it's their fault anyways? Yeah. Like, cause now the first thing they're like, oh, you're trying to blame me. Like, I'm not, this is like I don't, when it comes to $12,000 in loss, I don't care about blame. I just want to, if you don't get, I want to know how can we prevent this going forward, right? That's how I see it. But you just got, it is this person's first QA role. It is a startup, but you gotta like anything that comes with money, you cannot just like, oh, they said this. No, you gotta fight for it. You really gotta fight for it. All right. Okay. Let's go over to another one. Let's do another one. Let's do another one for tonight. Let's go and let me see. Whoa, stop the show. We got my guy Magnetar back in the building. He got out of his 14-day probation period for changing his name. Magnetar in the building says, Sith Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
And he says, I got my name back. Magnetar got his name back. We are back. We are back. And Magnetar says, also, I heard the word blame. Yes. Blame it is. I was going over an email that somebody sent me about a defect that they found. They reported it. The developer said it's not that serious. It's not going to happen. And then it caused the company $12,000 in lost revenue. And they were wondering how to navigate that. And I was giving insight because the company's saying, why did you push for it harder? While the developers are saying, you're blaming us for this mistake. And I was talking about how to navigate that. All right. So that to get you caught up. All right. I want to go to this article, this Reddit post, which talks about 10 brutal lessons learned from 9 months of vibe coding. All right, so let's go ahead and do this.
Another one.
So this is titled 10 brutal lessons from 9 months of vibe coding. It says, I've spent the last 9 months building and shipping multiple products using Lovable and Cursor Plus and other tools. One is a productivity-focused voice-controlled web app. Another is a iOS tool, all vibe coded, all solo. Shout out to you. It says, here's what I wish someone told me before. Before I melted through a dozen repos and rage quit Lovable 3 times. No hype, just what works. And I'm gonna say this, right? For me, using the Lovable platform in particular, being that I'm so used to troubleshooting, whenever I run into issues, it's not, I don't get really frustrated, except for last night, because I was going back and forth with this issue. And when I explain to you how I was able to solve it, you're going to be like, what in the world? That will be next, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday in our vibe code and chill session in the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon, available at techcoachralph.dev. But I'm curious to see what others are going through. It says, I might turn this into something more. We'll see. Espresso is doing its job. It says, start like a project manager, not a prompt monkey. Prompting on a prayer, right? It says, before you do anything, write a real PRD. Describe what you're building, why, and with what tools, Supabase, Vercel, GitHub, etc. Keep it in your root as product.md or instruction.md. Reference it constantly. AI loses context fast. This is your compass. That is good. I like that idea. For one of the projects that I've built and that we will be releasing soon, we had already started working on it from the beginning of the year, but we weren't making much headway. But we had our stories, we had our idea of what we wanted to build, and we had our Jira, but the development was just taking too long. So what ended up happening was once I got Lovable, I already had all the stories in place, and we already had all of our processes in place. So being able to just work through stories, work through sprints, have our Scrum nights, all that, it just made it so much easier to build this. So I would say, and when I'm training people, I'm telling, all right, I want you to start learning by building. And I'm like, all right, I want you to get Jira or Trello to create stories, create your test cases, create your automation, all of that stuff, so that you can actually go through the whole software development process and you have documentation, right? It says add a deployment manual yesterday. That makes sense. It says document exactly how to ship your project, which branch, which environment variables, which server, where the bodies are buried. You will forget. Lovable will forget. The file saves you at 2 a.m. That's a good point. Get or die trying. I like that. Cursor will break something critical. Use version control. Use local change logs per folder. Front end, back end, save tokens, and give your AI breadcrumbs to follow. And that's why I have been working on different branches. I'm kind of doing them like a branch per sprint, but I need to do a branch per story, just because of, as you saw in the dashboard, 13,000 lines and a pull request. That is crazy. That is embarrassing. All right. It says, don't hoard one 400 message Lovable chat. Start new ones per issue. What do you mean by that? Keep context small, scoped, and aggressive. Always say fix X, don't change anything else. Makes sense. I kind of play with that, depending on what I need. Then sometimes I'll make a really big prompt, sometimes I make a really small prompt when I'm being very specific. AI is smart, but it's also a toddler with scissors. Toddlers with scissors are very, very dangerous. It says, don't touch anything until you've scoped the feature. Don't touch anything. Your AI works better when you plan, write out the full feature flow in GPT Claude first, get suggestions, choose one approach, then go to Lovable. You're not brainstorming in there, you're executing. That is true. Very, very true. However, I will say this. Sometimes when I'm starting off, I like Lovable to be creative because I believe it or not, am not a very creative person, right? So I will rely on Lovable to come up with some ideas, and I'm sometimes like, I don't like that. And sometimes, but a lot, I do like it because their UI design is much better than my UI design. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. So I don't mind like the way the functionality wise, I'll have a heavy hand on that. But the UI layout, I'm good with that. If I can describe something, and that's why I'll even go into Manus or ChatGPT or Gemini to create my Lovable prompt, and I'll copy it and paste it in there. And normally, I created a okay. When I say inside of our Vibe Code and Chill session this past weekend, I had my guy David Yeti. He had a really cool idea. I took his idea and I combined it with my prompting skills to create a whole nice prompt for the application, and it came out absolutely amazing prototype. But that's because I have a system to create an amazing prompt that I can take what it generates for me and I can put that inside of Lovable, and it comes out with something. So as you saw, when we were working on the engineering dashboard, I was very broad with what I wanted. I just copied and pasted from Gemini. I want these metrics, and then it comes up with it. But then now, as we get closer to finishing the project, I want to be very tactical with the way that I do certain things. All right. Clean your house weekly. Run a weekly code-based cleanup. Delete temp files. Reorganize folder structures. AI thrives in clean environments. So do you. All right. So I'll say this, right? Something that I need to do is what I'm kind of, and this might not be the best strategy, right? But what I'm going to do once we deploy, I am going to create a new branch. So now in master is going to be running the application, but I'm going to create a new branch. Is that going to work? Yeah, that's going to work. I'm going to test it out, but I'm going to create a new branch, and I'm going to use tokens to refactor a bunch of the larger files into smaller files, smaller components, so that we can have a very clean project and they can be a lot more testable. All right. It says, don't ask it to build the whole entire thing. Don't ask it to build the whole shebang. It says, it's not your intern. It's a tool. Whoa. That is so disrespectful to interns. Why would you ask an intern to build the whole thing? Come on, son. It's a tool. Use it for UI stubs, small logic blocks, control refactors. Asking for an entire app in one go is like asking a blender to cook your dinner. Look, I have a blender that has hot and cold mode, so it can cook a whole soup. All right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It says ask. All right. So ask before you fix. When debugging, ask the model to investigate first, then have it suggest multiple solutions, then pick one. Only then ask it to implement. This sequence saves you hours of recursive hell. Tech that builds at AI speed. You'll MVP fast, but the mess scales faster than you. Keep architecture clean. Pause every few sprints to refactor. Oh, they use sprints too. Okay. You can vibe code fast, but you can't scale spaghetti. That is true. And I'll tell you this. As fast as this application got, like the one that we're going to be deploying soon, our target date is August 10th. As fast as we build that, right? I will say that the process that we went through, we have so much documentation, and we have documentation, and we also have a lot of testing in place. All right. It says your job is to lead the machine. Lovable isn't coding for you. It's co-piloting. I agree with that 1000%. You're still the captain. I'm the captain now. Use Markdown doc to define project rules. Use Git checkpoints. Use your brain. Use your brain. That's not a vibe. No, I'm kidding. Use your brain for system thinking and product intuition. Because I'm putting together 20 plus more hard-earned insights in the doc, including specific prompts, scoped examples, debug flows, and mini PRD templates. If that sounds viable, let me know and I'll drop it. Stay caffeinated. Lead the machine. Update all. Added the docs here. I will write a weekly on vibe coding and solo AI building. 10 issues so far. All battle scars in Espresso. If that sounds useful, check it out. I will certainly be checking that out. That was very, very helpful, very, very insightful. No, I agree with almost all of this. And that's very, very similar to my strategy. They didn't talk much about troubleshooting, which that's a whole beast in itself. But if you are not that well versed in code, it's gonna be tough to troubleshoot. I showed a few pointers on Saturday, how I use the console, how I use the network tabs, but for really deep-rooted issues, it's gonna take some time. All right, but that was that one. Let's go and wrap that one up. All right, let me check the chat real quick, and I will do. What are we gonna do next? Maybe I'll spend a little bit more time trying out the. Maybe we'll investigate the. Actually, I'll do one more question and then we'll see what we can do from there. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. So, let me see. Magnetar had said, "I've dealt with the Department of Defense side of the. That's what you mean, right? Department of Defense side of the government my whole adult life, and I've seen blame game dang near the entire time." Isn't that what you guys do in the government? Isn't that what you guys do in the government? Don't you guys just pass blame around like a hot potato? Really? And then they end up like,
I hate it here. I want to go home.
I'm just kidding, Magnetar. I'm just kidding. Don't come at me, Magnetar. Don't. It's just a little joke. Just a little joke.
Hey, a wise guy, eh?
I do what I can. I'll be here all night. Actually, no, I'll be here for about another 30 minutes, but who's counting? Anyways, let me see. Magnetar says, no, not all of us. I mean, of course not all. But you know how they say on the panels, they'll say, all of us aren't like that. There's like 5 of us who aren't like that, and we're like, what? Anyways, all right, let's go. It says, I hope you. Don't you wish that evil on me, Magnetar? Don't you wish that evil on me, Magnetar? Don't you do it? Don't you do it? Oh my goodness, how could Magnetar say such a thing to me? I'm broken. I am broken up about this. How could people say such a thing? Anyhow, I mean, because you know that I am a token fiend, but I am functional.
You're such a nerd.
It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Let's do this. Token Olympics. He's so funny. That's hilarious. You're too funny. All right. What do I want to do now? I want to. Let me see what this one is. Let's do this one. Let's do this one, and then we will go from there. Right. So, I am going to throw this question up.
Another one.
Building a secure app with vibe coding, is that possible? All right, let's go over and read. So this is also on Reddit, right? It says, is it possible to build a secure app using just vibe coding. I think part of the problem is what is the true definition of vibe coding, right? If anybody can answer that, because to me, vibe coding can be a really broad term, because one could say the apps that I've built have been vibe coded, but I am very involved in the code. Not all the code, but the article that the post I read before, that person does way more than vibe coding. So here's what we're gonna do. Before we even get into reading this, right? Let's go to new chat. And I'm gonna say what is the true definition of vibe coding? Let's see what Gemini says the true definition of vibe coding is. And remember, tomorrow on our software explorations concept and overviews, I'm going to be going over Google Opal, which is their own vibe coding platform. And I compared it. I used the same prompt that I used to create a lovable prototype in Google Opal, and you'll be able to see what it came out with, right? It says, vibe coding is a colloquial term that has gained popularity in software development community. There's no formal academic definition, but there is a strong, widely understood meaning. The true definition of vibe coding is an approach to programming that relies heavily on intuition, momentum, and a feel, rather than on strict upfront planning, formal specifications, or rigid methodologies like test-driven development. It's the process of writing code based on an internal sense of what feels right, logical, and elegant at the moment. The developer enters a flow state and builds out features or solves problems based on an evolving mental model, letting the design emerge organically from the process of coding itself. So I would say if this is the definition of vibe coding, then what I am doing is not per se vibe coding, right? It's not per se vibe coding. If that's because I am very detailed, technical, structured in the apps that I'm building. I do use these platforms to build it out, but I would say just start like with the other posts, right? The 10 lessons. Just the fact that you're creating a PRD, right? It goes outside the realm of what this is talking about. By having a plan and a structure is going outside of what this flow state is, right? So, okay. So it says key characteristics of vibe coding: intuition over specification. The developer might have a high-level goal, but the specific implementation details are figured out on the fly. They are filling out the solution rather than executing a pre-written plan. Well, if that's the case, a developer can vibe code without using AI, because they can just start writing code and go from there. Focus on flow and momentum. The primary goal is to keep moving and making progress. Stopping to write excessive tests, document every function, or debate architectural choices would break the vibe. It would break the vibe. Aww. Emergent design. The software architecture isn't planned in detail beforehand. Instead, it emerges and is refactored as the developer's understanding of the problem deepens through the act of coding. Aesthetic and feel. A vibe coder often talks about the code feeling right or feeling clean. I'm not a feeling type person. This is an aesthetic judgment based on experience concerning factors like simplicity, naming convention, and logical structure. High trust in self. The practice requires confidence in one's own ability to find a good solution and to clean up any messy parts later. So based on that definition, right? Based on that definition, I would say a good 99% of the people who are quote unquote vibe coding are not technically vibe coding. They are just going into a AI platform and saying, I want this, and then it creates something, and then they believe that it is vibe coding, but they are just using AI to build an application. That, from reading this from Gemini, That is not vibe coding. All right. Let me see. I'm not going to go into this. When is vibe coding? So when is vibe coding used? Prototyping and MVPs, hackathons, personal projects, creating coding and art, R&D and exploration. I agree. Where it's dangerous, large teams, mission critical systems. Yeah. All right. So that makes a lot of sense. So now, as we read this, we have to take it into context of. Let me see. Where are we? We're looking at. All right. So here we are. All right. So. Is it possible to secure an app using just vibe coding? I've been building an app for over the last couple of months using Lovable and Superbase for the backend. I've been careful to address any warnings or issues that pop up in Superbase dashboard. That said, I keep seeing posts from people warning that vibe coded apps aren't secure. I'm planning to integrate Stripe for payments and will be handling customer emails and passwords, so security is a big deal. Before I push the app live, what's the best way to ensure it's actually secure? Should I hire a software engineer to audit my code and backend, or is it realistically possible to build a secure app using just AI prompts? Would love to hear anyone who's gone through this or has thoughts on best practice. So this was a concern for me as well. But I would say this. Based on the type of data that you will be putting in, like I know you said the password and the email and the password, I would say my encouragement would be to use OAuth and two-factor authentication, right? So that, or don't use password. So use OAuth, like GitHub integration. I'm saying GitHub, but GitHub integration, Google, Apple, LinkedIn, depending on the app that you're building, all of those, right? And then once you do that, if you're going to be using email address, let's say they don't have any of those somehow, right? You're using email, maybe use like the magic link, where it sends you a link to your email and then you have to put in a code for security reasons instead of like just using a plain out password. But it also depends on what you're going to be storing. The Stripe part, Stripe is very secure from what I've seen, right? So I'm not too concerned about that. Now, I got a security alert from Superbase the other day. It popped up in Lovable, so I did it. I implemented it and all that. But I think what you want to look into more is about the row level security for the database and the remote procedure calls for the database. If you should hire a software engineer to audit your code and backend, in a perfect world, the answer would be yes. However, engineers normally find 1,001 issues on code that they don't write or had any part in. So my first step, here's what my first step would be. I would pull your code into Devin AI and ask Devin to audit your code and give you feedback on that code and see how that goes. Before you go to a software engineer, ask Devin, because Devin and Lovable are not connected whatsoever. For probably 10, 20 ACUs on Devin, or ACLs on Devin, ACUs, you can probably get your whole application scanned. Being that it's a Lovable, like you built it on Lovable, being that you probably don't have any experience, it's probably not going to be that much to scan, right? So that's how I see it. I do think you can build a secure app, right? I think you can build a secure app. I think you just need to probably go to a website, right? Go to one of those security scanning websites and do that first. So I'll say do that, do Devin, then go to one of those security websites and pay to get your application scanned and see how that goes. All right. So that would be my advice. Let me see what some commentary that we had, what they said. Says application security is quite complex. You basically start from the basic security practices. Your app is served over HTTPS. Yep. Your DB and Supabase has proper authentication and RLS policy set. Yep. Your app does not have any secrets hard coded in it. Yep. You can use Supabase secrets to use them inside of edge functions. Yep. Passwords are properly hashed. I honestly think for authentication, you should delegate this part to third parties like Google SSO or Clerk. I never heard of Clerk.dev, but like I said, Google SSO, Apple, set up your Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, GitHub, whatever third-party integration you want. There's a lot more that goes into it, but this could be a good starting point. You can quite honestly ask the AI to do an audit for these on your behalf and monitor a few items yourself. You are most probably at MVP stage, so don't stress too much right now. I agree. You can use code scanning tools like Corega. Full discourse, I'm this. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're doing here. Where it'll look for vulnerabilities in your code and recommend fixes. I'm going to look into this. Any app, vibe coded or not, can be insecure. That's a fact because guess what? T-Mobile was not vibe coded. Is it? I always confuse. Is it not Experian, not TransUnion, Equifax? Was it Equifax? One of the three major credit bureaus, right? They got hacked. They were not vibe coded, and they still got hacked. So I think that people who say, "Oh, vibe coded applications get hacked," is because they're the ones who fear that, and they don't want to learn how to use these platforms, and they fear that these platforms are going to take their jobs instead of learning how to use them and have them be more efficient, right? So that's how I see it. To secure your API endpoints, webhooks, and make sure your queries are not selecting more than what's necessary for functions so you don't leak stuff. The rest can be fixed slowly. Because you can build a secure app with just vibe coding, but someone must revise your app, or you must use a secure code template and make no changes to the fundamental blocks. Okay. Why are you handling customer emails or passwords? Don't do this. Use Supabase auth or Clerk or something similar. Just a lovable mix. funny guy. All right, so that was that. I think it's possible. I do think that people need to learn a lot more. People need to learn a lot more instead of just sitting and relying on AI to do everything for you. Even if you have a company, right? Do you just take everything that all of the junior developers, even senior developers, say at face value? I think as a owner of a company, it all falls on you. It all falls on you. So you need to do your due diligence, do your research to make sure that your product, your app, whatever it is secure, is safe, and you need to learn more, because guess what? You can go pay a software engineer to check your app and everything like that. What if even though you had that software engineer do an audit, you still get hacked, right? So while you take the right measures in place, I still think it's very, very important that you learn some of this stuff yourself, so that when people are sharing information with you, you're not looking totally lost. All right. So that is my thoughts on that. All right. Here is what we're going to do next. We are going to watch Bozito's video together because he is my friend and he just recently got a really, really cool job over in San Francisco. So let me pull that up. Let's go this way. And give me a second to get this thing right. Let's go here. All right, let's go ahead and watch Bozito's video together and see what my friend had to say about his transition from being a videographer to a QA engineer at Meta.
Well, last year I set a goal that I would land my first tech job. I knew that I want to work on the tech. I just didn't know when it would happen or how, but I finally did. I landed my first tech job, and not just anywhere. I'm working at Meta on the Reality Labs team with the Meta glasses. This is the story of how a self-employed videographer with zero tech background made a complete career switch. It took me months of studying, tons of rejection, and even messaging that I thought was a scam, but was real. So if you are out there grinding, hustling, wondering if it's worth, this video is for you. So
I kind of thought it was a scam too when he told me, but I'm like, wow, that's pretty serious. But it was the real deal.
why I switched careers? Well, for years I worked as a photographer and videographer, which I still do during the weekends as a side hustle now. Fully self-employed, building my brand, hustling, calling clients every day, trying to grow and make money out there with photography and videography. It was creative, flexible, and I loved the freedom that I had. But being self-employed also comes with ups and downs. Some months were very good, but some months it's very bad. And as I started getting older, the freedom is good, the flexibility was nice, but stability was starting to matter more to me. I was looking for something that could give me consistent income, long-term growth, and also the option to maybe work remotely. That's when I started to think about switching careers and moving to the techie. So how was my roadmap? Let me share with you guys. First thing, and the most important, I got a mentor, Sam, my friend, my Indian tech duty. He worked for more than 10 years at Intel, and he was the first person that I contacted when I had this first idea. We went out for lunch one day, and he broke things down for me, and the first thing that he told me was to learn Python. That was my first step. He told me, start learning Python if you like. After that, we're gonna have another conversation for the next steps. So what I did, I jumped into online course, Udemy, YouTube, free tutorials, everything that I could find about Python, I was taking a look, but always following a program so I wouldn't be lost. So I got a course on Udemy called Python from Zero to Hero from Jose Portello, something like that. I'm gonna leave the link here for you guys. That was the first course that I took, and it gave me a very solid base to start understanding how a programming language works. After I finished that course, I felt like I hit a wall. I didn't know what to do next. Like, I knew how to write for loops, but how do I use it in real life, you know? So then I reached out to Sen again and I asked for my next step, and he told me to learn a little bit about pandas. But I took that step too far away. I enrolled in a full data science course. And I kinda hated that. I mean, in the beginning it was nice, manipulating some data and etc. But when I got to the machine learning, matplotlib, seaborn, and
Everybody knows that I hate matplotlibs. I like data science, but I hate matplotlibs. I wonder though, I do wonder why that was the recommendation to look into pandas. Let me rewind a little bit, because let me rewind.
a lot of etc. course. But then I reached out to Sen again and I asked for my write for loops. But how I felt like I hit a wall. I didn't know what to do next. Like, I knew how to write for loops, but how do I use it in real life, you know? So then I reached out to Sen again and I asked for my next step, and he told me to learn a little bit about pandas. But I took that step too far away. I enrolled in a full data science course. And I kinda hated that. I mean, in the beginning it was nice, manipulating some data and etc. But when I got to the machine learning, matplotlib, seaborn, and a lot of mathematics, I was like, no, that's not for me. So I was like, I need to do something else. So after that whole data science detour, I reached out to Sen again, and he broke down for me.
Yeah, I wonder why pandas would have been recommended. If you're not going into like data science, data engineering, and things like that, I wonder why pandas would have been a suggestion as the next step. Just interesting. But because I remember when I took the 100 Days of Python course, like they had like that data science stuff towards the end of the course. But I'm just curious, like why pandas would have been the one to go to.
Like different paths and where I could go and learn and study. And the options were developer, quality assurance tester, cybersecurity, project manager, scrum master, data science, and data analysis. And I was like, okay, data science, I already know that I don't like it. All of these options are nice, but I had to be real with myself. First, I didn't want to go deep into heavy coding like developers and data science do. I'm not even good on maths. I wanted to work in tech, but to start somewhere I could really break in now, not in like 2, 3, 4 years. So I went for the QA, the quality assurance side, focusing on software testing. It was the most practical option for me. I could still use logic, problem solving, and communication skill, but without needing to become a hardcore coder from day one. I found the QA bootcamp on Udemy, and I really enjoy it. I started learning about manual testing, test cases, test scenario, bug reports, user stories, acceptance criteria, and all of that stuff. Then I moved to automation. I switched from Python to Java, and I learned web automation with Selenium, API tests with Postman, SNG, JUnit, Playwright, and etc. And I was taking the study very serious, like every day 4 hours no matter what. Sometimes I was studying like 6, 8 hours during the weekend or something like that. And I was still running my videography business and a side hustle. And to make more time, I stopped editing my videos.
That right there is the type, and most people do not have that work ethic. They say they want to go. Bozito just said at least 4 hours a day, at least 4 hours a day to transition, like to learn about the, like how to do the job that he wants, right? And while QA seems like it's the one of the easier roles to get into, it's actually pretty hard to get into it because there's a lot less QAs than there are developers. So I would say the ratio is about 4 or 5 to 1. So while a lot of people, they end up going to these QA boot camps, they want to do QA, but then they're just not those roles available. So the level of effort and the intensity of effort that Bozito put in there was absolutely amazing.
And I hired an editor for me, and I was trying to.
Also, I wanted to read Bozito's comment in real time. Says it was my fault. He said to take a look, and I got a full data science course. Hilarious.
Stay away from my phone to really focus on it. The next step was the job hunt, plus of course the rejections. After finishing my bootcamp, a few courses here and there, building a portfolio with my project, I upload everything on GitHub and I start to apply for jobs. I was really confident, but I got nothing. No interviews, no callback, just silence. Sometimes just an automatic email saying that they moved with another person. At that point, I realized that I had to do more than just apply for jobs. So then I found a guy on YouTube, Coach Rafa. He's also QA, and I found him because of one of his videos about portfolio and projects. And we started interaction on YouTube, Instagram, etc. And one day he invited me to his show to talk about my journey. So we had this conversation on his live on YouTube, and he gave me the advice to reach out to people, to offer my job for free, to get more experience like in a real project so I could really work and put in practice everything that I was studying. So after that conversation, I started to reach out everyone that I knew in tech, friends, old connection, etc. And one friend, also Rafael, he gave me the opportunity to start. He already have an app running and he's building a new project, and he told me if you wanted to test it, feel free. He just gave me access to the Figma design, and that's it. I had a Figma design, some ideas, all the knowledge that I got with my course and bootcamp, and I started working on his project. And that experience was really good. It gave me hands-on experience, something unique to work and to talk about, and also gave me the confidence to say, I worked on this project, I did this in this project, this was my work. So then the LinkedIn message also changed everything. And to be honest, in the beginning I thought, well,
I'm gonna say this, like, that is so cool. And at our Vibe Code and Chill session over the weekend, I asked the people there, would you work for free for the position that you really want? Like, if you don't have the experience, would you basically what Bozito said, he created his own internship where he can actually get valuable practical experience that was lacking into the field that he wants. And he's like, he found a friend who was building something and says, can I test it for you? Sure, here's access. Now you have something to talk about. Let's keep going.
Was a scam. So this lady sent me a message on LinkedIn saying how my resume was impressive, how my projects were very good, and if I was interested in a position. I was like, yeah, of course, might be a scam.
Yeah, it was like, my resume is really good, my projects are impressive. This must be a scam. No, but it wasn't.
Scan or something like that. And I was like, okay, which position, where? And she was like, oh, this is a position for Facebook. I was like, ah, okay, that's a scan. So again, I messaged my mentor and say, hey, look where I received it. And he was like, bro, this is not a scan, this is legit. I know this company, this is a big company in India. I was like, oh, okay, my bad. And I was like, okay, so what should I do? It's like, bro, just do the interview. You're not gonna get the job, you don't have experience, but you definitely need interview experience. So just do it and see how it goes. So I didn't prepare at all because the interview was the
That's the same information I'm like, look, whether you get the job or not, it doesn't matter. You need reps. You need to get in front of people who you don't know, because even when you do a mock interview, like I'll tell you this, I've done so many different mock interviews, right? But sometimes when the people get in front of the interviewer, and what I always like, do not memorize interview questions. Do not memorize interview questions. One more time for those in the back, do not memorize interview questions. You need to be in a we're talking about vibe coding. You need to vibe interview. You need to have a conversation. You need to have things to talk about. You cannot be robotic during an interview. You need to be able to highlight why you are the best.
We the best.
And even if you feel unqualified for the interview, go and take it. Go have the conversation. See what type of questions they're gonna ask you. Be ready. And you have like, I remember when I was looking for a job after the company that I was working for closed, right? And I had interviewed in years, and I totally bombed that first interview because I was not ready. After that, I was ready for every single interview, prep and everything like that. So you gotta go and get practicing. Like even if you're sure, like, oh, I'm probably not gonna get that job, go interview anyways, because get the practice in, get the reps in.
The same day that they messaged me. So I did the interview. So then they messaged me the next day saying that I passed for the second phase. I did the second phase, and a few days later they messaged me saying that I was selected the position, and I proved my mentor wrong. So why and how I got the job? Was I 100% ready for the job? To be honest, no. But there was one very specific reason they picked me. I'm a native Portuguese speaker from Brazil. They were looking for someone that speaks Portuguese for a QA role, and that was like a perfect match. I was like, okay, let's do it. And you might be asking, what do I do at Meta, right? Well, I'm working on the Reality Labs team specifically for the Meta Glass. I'm one of the testers for the new features for the Meta Glasses, and our team has like 25 people. And it's so cool because I'm learning a lot every day, like getting real hands-on experience, networking with product manager, developers, other QAs. It's like a new world for me, like really understanding how one of the biggest tech company handles like product development, testing, release, new features, and etc. So if you're still watching and trying to break it into tech, here are my advice. First, and the most important, get a mentor. It's gonna make you save time, gonna make you save money, and you're gonna get some shortcut and advice that you wouldn't get by yourself. Second, be flexible, try different things. You can see what exactly you like. Like I said, like I started with data science and then I moved to QA. So then you're gonna find something that you really enjoy and you can keep going. Third advice, don't overlearn. Build real projects and put them out. Upload it on your GitHub, on your LinkedIn, and show your projects because the opportunity is gonna come to you as well. Even if you don't feel ready, apply anyways, you never know. Look where I am right now. I started this journey looking for stability and freedom, and now I'm working at one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and that's just the beginning. I know where I wanted to get. My goal now is to learn as much as possible, get experience, grow inside the company, and be ready for new opportunities. So if you are on a similar path, if you have any questions, drop a comment here. I'm gonna reply everyone. And if this video helped you or inspired you, give it a like, and I see you guys soon.
That was a great video, absolutely phenomenal. And I agree with everything that Bozito did in that journey. And that, see, it could have went two ways. It could have went two ways. It could have been, oh, I took this boot camp, I created a couple GitHub repos, and I'm applying, and then nobody's responding to me. And start complaining on LinkedIn about how these companies, they're not serious, they're not hiring, they ghost you and stuff like that. Or you can do what Bozito did, and you can say, oh, let me find another strategy. Let me find mentors. Let me find people to talk to. Let me find this. Let me find that. the goal didn't change. How the goal was accomplished, that gets modified, but the goal didn't change. And in a lot shorter time than most people, Bozito landed his role. And the idea of because Bozito spoke Portuguese, that gave him a leg up against a bunch of other people who didn't. Well, guess what? You have to use whatever attribute that you have that makes you stand out. You got to use that to get that experience. So the fact that because you are a native Portuguese speaker and they needed somebody who speaks Portuguese, who is also a QA engineer in San Francisco, that put you right there to get that position. And now you can build your career. Now that you got your foot in the door, the sky is the limit at that point. We are going to wrap it up. Let me check the chat real quick before we get out of here. Let me see. Where am I? So Bozito said, my interview was more a conversation with the developer, not much technical questions, but a lot of fundamental stuff. The basic thing that we kind of want to ignore because it is boring. Exactly. Totally. And Magnetar says, hey, it's Kurt Warner. I don't even know if Bozito knows who Kurt Warner is. Bozito, do you know who Kurt Warner is by any chance? It's a football player from back in the days. I would doubt if Bozito knows who Kurt Warner is, but maybe he does. Anyways, that's all we got for tonight. That is all. Oh wait! Stop the show! I was about to get up and out of here, but we got my guy Rod Brown calling in. Give me a sec. Let me put my headphones on. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the show. And I'm going to answer my guy Rod Brown. Give me a second. Let's see here. Let's do that. And let me bring up Mr. Rod Brown really quick. What's up, Rod Brown? How you doing tonight? Bring you up on screen.
What's going on, man?
Doing amazing, Mr. Live in the building. Let me bring you up on screen. Give me a second. I haven't brought somebody up on screen so long, I forgot how to do it. Just do it this way. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. Let me see. Is it this one? There we go. Mr. Rod Brown, how's it going?
Doing well. How you doing, man?
I am doing phenomenal, kinda, mostly.
That's good, man. That's good. I just wanted to, take a little break from getting my content and stuff like that ready because I got to make a video, pretty soon or finish editing. But I saw the video that you just posted is that Bozito, right? Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. I'm glad that you were able to help him out. That's kudos to you, man. It's because trust me when I say this, you annoy people to success, and I promise you, he's going to annoy you until you're successful. All right, so I know firsthand.
I mean, you do have a show tomorrow night, don't you?
Do I? I don't know, man.
And it's been 3 weeks in a row.
And then the moment I take a week off, you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. What are you doing? Like, so,
week off.
See, there it is. There it is.
How you gonna talk about a week off before you did a whole month of lives?
I wanted to first off, I'm thankful that I can do a whole month of lives. I still got to do tomorrow, but I'm thankful that I can even do a whole month of lives, even with the issues that I've been having thus far. But then maybe I got to, maybe I need to sit back and assess and see what's working, what's not working, and this and there. But I can see it in your face right now. You're just like, what are you talking about? Just get to it. Just go live. Just do it. Like, I don't get it. See there? I'm like, oh,
Exactly
we're going
what
to
I'm
get
thinking.
there. We're going to get there.
That's exactly what I'm
Well,
thinking.
listen, I don't want to keep you too long. I just wanted to, come on here. We hadn't spoken in a minute because you've been busy. I've been busy. But at the same time, I wanted to get your insight. I think you kind of had a conversation about this earlier, but I wanted to specifically highlight this particular app. So you had a conversation when it came down to the security of vibe coding. But I want to discuss it in relations to the T app. Pretty sure you heard about the T app that
I
exactly.
have, yeah.
So we're not going to talk about exactly what the T app was used for, but for those who don't know, the T app was an app that's supposed to keep women particularly safe and essentially give people the T on men. But make a long story short, the T app was hacked not too long ago. I would say last weekend, and the information that was being able to be found. Now, I wouldn't say it was hacked. I would say that a lot of the information that they were able to get, you can honestly get that, browser related. Like you can kind of F12 it, or I'm not going to tell you how, but but at the same time, I was looking at some of the coding and looking at some of the spec, and I was just like, I'm not too sure if it was secure. So my first question to you is, number one, do you think the T app was probably vibe coded? And then number two, with the amount of security measures that they were asking for women to sign onto the app, name, verification, ID card, and stuff like that, should they have had, what would be your suggestions for a stronger IT solution that they should have had at least from the start?
So I would say that I do not think that it was vibe coded, because from what I heard yesterday on Talk That Tech Show with Joseph and Trey, is that the T app was around since like 2022-ish, maybe a little earlier. And I don't think that vibe coding was something at that time. I could be wrong.
Right.
And if it wasn't as strong. Does that mean they didn't add some more features with it recently? It doesn't mean that. But also what I heard is they took data from before February of this year. So I don't, and whether it was vibe coded or not, it like they were saying, like it could still happen, because
Right.
a bunch of major companies weren't.
Yeah, like Experian and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We get it.
And we also see like there's major companies that are being targeted, like retail companies and stuff like that. I would say that whenever you become popular for the right or wrong reasons, then you put that target on your back, where, because there's plenty of apps that nobody really knows about, but they make a lot of money because they're not
Sure.
sensational, Now, if we move on to the inputting of that type of data, I would probably say don't put your driver's license and stuff like that in ratchet apps.
That's true.
That's that would be my number one recommendation.
Listen, I had a young lady, just to give you some clarification. I had a young lady at that that I know that's at the gym, right? And she was telling me about the T app, or telling my wife about it. I don't understand what she was telling my wife about it. She's like, I'm not gonna be on there, but if I am, I don't care, man. Anywho, but even my wife said it. She was just like, I don't think that's a smart idea for you to even be on there. And she was like, why? What? Like, this was going to be great for us. And she was like, well, for you, not for me. But she was like, you got to take a picture of your driver's license. Like, she's like, I'm wary of taking a picture of my driver's license to give to a bank. Like, and you're just gonna give it to a random app? Like, don't you think the security in that? And when she said that, I was just like, I trained you well. I trained you well, you know? So
they're not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that, what you just said
and
right
it,
there.
and then when she said that to her, she was kind of like, oh yeah, that is true. It's just like, but some people are so gullible and willing to give that information up, and then not knowing that that information is stored into a particular database, and then even that information can be sold. Not trying to say it would be, but you would never know if that information would be sold to data brokers and so forth and so on, and then you get 10 spam calls in a day and you don't know where they came from. So,
And the part about like the whole driver's license, it seems like they stored the driver's license, because there's some major companies who use your driver's license and stuff to do verification, like when you're doing your YouTube partner verification, some Facebook
but
stuff.
it's not stored.
But but they don't store it. So every time they, like, if you'd have to do it again, they'll ask you to put it in again. It just sounds like bad developers, honestly, or lack of testing. Which that's probably the bigger thing than anything, is there was no testing involved, no security scans, nothing. So, but how they say, you play stupid games,
Win super prizes. So,
but yeah, moral of the story: don't put your personal information in ratchet apps.
Or not just ratchet apps. Apps, I would say that yes, ratchet apps is definitely on the list, but also apps that, number one, like don't be the first to it. Like, I think like what was it when TikTok got taken down? What was that other app that everybody, the Chinese app that everybody was trying to go to? I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Red Dot or
it's a Red something.
Red something. But
maybe?
everybody was so gung ho to jump over there, and then and whatever information they were asking for, you were so gung ho to give that information to it. And it's just like, I just think some people don't think when it comes down to that, even to the point that people would have to have proper like security common sense per se. It's not like, say, you can't sign up for an app, but it's just like have some proper thinking and discernment when it comes down to like, do I really want to take a picture of my driver's license and give it to this ratchet app just so I can see if the guy that I'm dating is potentially sleeping with somebody? Like, is it worth it? So I don't know. I just think it was just a security cluster, and do better.
Yeah, just mentioning the TikTok thing, it's funny, they left a Chinese app to go to another Chinese app.
Yep.
A less secure Chinese app.
Because from my understanding, the current TikTok servers are not an American soil, right? It's still in China, correct?
I have no idea.
I have no idea neither, but I'm just assuming that it is. So it's like, I'm not.
I know they employ people in the United States though. Like, they have locations in Canada, different parts of the U.S. Like, if you look at their employee base, they have a lot of employees. So I don't know all the details behind them though.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure a lot of those servers aren't here. But still, it's just I'm too old to be on TikTok, so I'm not on there. So.
I mean, you can share some compelling Bible story shorts.
I can, but I'm not. So
you don't care about the youth who use TikTok, who don't use YouTube.
I do care about them, and I'm pretty sure that there are some fantastic Christian content creators on TikTok. I know some of them, and I'll leave that to them, but I'm gonna stay over here where I'm a little bit more comfortable. So.
I mean, you can just use your Opus to push it to TikTok.
No.
I tried.
Not doing that. You tried. You tried.
I push mine everywhere. So like, I like when I do it, because I just push it there. I like, just send it everywhere. Who cares? Just send it.
Right. I just want to be a little bit more strategic with it.
To the depths of the earth.
Right. Trying to be a little bit more strategic with it, and potentially hyper focus on where I'm at right now. And then
I take my message.
What's this?
Shout out to
it's only
Magnetar.
money.
Shout out to Magnetar.
Yes, sir.
I take my message to the depths of the earth, as far as it can go. maybe God's message isn't that important. But, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I can't with you.
let me read Magnetar's super chat real quick. Says, if people weren't so selfish and doofy, they wouldn't have to resort to apps like that in the first place.
Facts.
Yup.
Facts.
Agreed.
That is
Thank you for the $5 super chat, Magnetar. Agree with you 100%. But I was just messing with you. I was just funny. But you're gonna think now you're thinking about it, but I was messing with you. What are you thinking about it?
I know. I'm thinking about it, but at the same time, I'm just like, nope, stick to the plan. Listen, I'm already branching out by live streaming once a week. So that's as much as you're gonna get. You know, like how somebody's on the wall and you want them to dance and then they do a little two-step and then you want them to do more. No, I'm gonna stick to my two-step and I'm gonna keep perfecting that two-step right now.
Once a week.
Once a week. That's all I got.
I'm just messing with you. You got way more important stuff to do than.
Yep.
Anyways, anything else you got for me before we get out of here?
No, that's all. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to ask you that question, and shout out to you for being a good coach and being able to help out Bozito, being able to get that job and continue to do the good work. That's all. And leave me alone and stop annoying me. How about that?
From YouTube to TikTok to Reddit to Instagram to Facebook to the depths of the earth. All right. Rod Brown, appreciate you as always.
No.
Talk to you soon. See you tomorrow on your live stream at Rod-Brown on YouTube. I think he has a start time of 8:45 for tomorrow, so everybody tune in. Go check out Rod Brown's fourth live stream.
Fourth live stream.
So a month in. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Proud of you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much.
See you on TikTok later.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, you guys. That is it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm gonna check the chat really quick before we get out of here, and then we will wrap it up. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Let me see. Bozito says he does not know who Kurt Warner is. I think most people today probably don't know who Kurt Warner is anyway. So Bozito says we don't have American football in Brazil. What is your favorite Brazilian soccer team, Bozito? What is it? Because my jiu-jitsu professor, he has a highly favorite soccer team. I forgot the name of it, but they have a logo like CR. So, and Magnetar says yes, he played football. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams. I think at the time we were like St. Louis Rams. I can't believe St. Louis lost their team. Jeez. Let's see. And Magnetar says later, and Rod Brown says I'm too old for. No, you are never too old. You are never too old to bust a move while sharing the gospel. All right. Anyways, remember tomorrow morning we're gonna be going live. We're gonna be working on our N8N workflow, our marketing workflow. Then at noon we're gonna be premiering Google Opal, their version of a vibe coding app. I'm gonna be comparing it to a prototype that I did in Lovable, all of that good stuff. So on our way out, if you have not done so already, which I know you have, but if you have not done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. TechCoachRap.dev. Join me for our vibe coding chill sessions. Check out my sprint reviews of the apps that we're building. All of that good stuff. Would love to work and collaborate with you. But until next time, till tomorrow morning, my friends, Techotrav, we are out.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Free like the wind, no leash on my fire. Chasing my goals, fueled by desire. Cut through the schemes, dodged every liar. Working for me, lifting myself higher. Free like the wind, no leash on my fire. Chasing my goals, fueled by desire. Cut through the schemes, dodged every liar. Working for me, lifting myself higher.
Cut the ties, scissors in my hands, snip the strings. Marionette, no more, I dance for my own wings. They set traps, but I'm dodging all their schemes. Tunnel vision sharp, chasing all my dreams.
Solo moves that can box me in cages. Wrote my own books, skip through their pages. Blueprint dreams building high with no wages. Stacking my wins, life flipping through stages. I'm so free, no chains on my feet.
No chains.
Feel my own path, paved it in concrete. I work for me,
just for me.
Don't clock in for their greed.
No.
Self-made, self-fed, I'm all that I need.
I did it. They whisper lies, try to pull me in their storm, but I'm weatherproof, dressed in my own form. Goals in my sight, sharp as a hawk eyes. The nonsense fades, lost in my skies.
Said I couldn't do it, now they watch in awe. Build my empire brick by brick, no flaw. Their schemes crumble, dust under my stride. I rise higher, no limits on this ride. I'm so free, no chains on my feet.
No chains.
Built my own path, paved it in concrete. I work for me,
just for me.
Don't clock in for their greed.
No.
Self-made, self-fed, I'm all that I need.
I did it. Blueprints drawn from the ink of my will. No shortcuts here, just grinding uphill. Desire's flame bright, can't dim my fire. A phoenix soaring higher and higher.
I'm so free, no chains on my feet.
No chains.
Built my own path, paved it in concrete. I work for me,
just for me.
Don't clock in for their greed.
No.
Self-made, self-fed, I'm all that I need.
I did it. Nonsense chatter, static on my line. Tunnel vision sharp, I'm chasing what's mine. They want my time, I keep it confined. Locked in the ground, let my essence shine.
I'm so free, no chains on my feet.
No chains.
Built my own path, paved it in concrete.
It's paved.
I work for me,
just for me.
Don't clock in for their greed.
No.
Self-made, self-fed, I'm all that I need.
I did it. Free like the wind, no leash on my fire. Not my fire. Chasing my goals, fueled by desire. Cut through the schemes, dodged every liar. I'm working for me, just for me. Lifting myself higher. Highest levels.